Hello everyone, welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today we're now going to be exploring the last planet in our solar system. So the last video we did Uranus and its moons, which are Miranda, Ariel, Umbriel, Titania, and Oberon. In case you missed it, click on the card over here to find out more about Uranus first, then you can see the next one, which is this one. So after Uranus is the last planet in our solar system. But that's not the last object in our solar system, because there's Pluto, Haumea, Makemake, and Eris, which I'll be covering about in a future video regarding for dwarf planets. So let's go to Neptune now. Neptune is the 8th planet from the Sun, and it takes 16 hours to rotate, taking 165 years to orbit the Sun. And we have gotten so far from the Sun. The Sun looks like a tiny dot right now. As you can see, the Sun is just a tiny dot right now, since we're about like 30 astronomical units away from the Sun now. And it has over 16 moons. However, it only has just one massive moon, and you all know what it is. It's Triton. But before we talk about that, Neptune also has a ring system, just like every gas planet in our solar system. But unlike Saturn's, this ring system is not very big, and actually is made out of rocks. As you can see, it's not just gas. It has some ring particles, not like gas, which was Uranus and Jupiter, which was just mostly gas. You can see Neptune's rings are mostly like rock particles, just like Saturn, mostly made out of gas, like gas, ice, dust, and particles that make up the rings of Neptune. Neptune is considered as an ice giant, but it's not ice. It's really just gas of hydrogen and helium and methane, just like every gas planet except for the methane part. The gravity is slightly more than the Earth. Its diameter is 49,000 kilometers, and its mass is 17.147 mass of the Earth. So Neptune is also you may think in Voyager 1 space photos, Neptune is a deep blue color, like in Voyager, but here it's cyan, because this is Neptune's real color. It's cyan. And for the great dark spot, just like Jupiter, well, it's this one over here. You can see this is the dark spot that Neptune has. It's like Jupiter's great red spot, which you can see in the Jupiter video. So this is Neptune. It's 30 astronomical units away from the Sun as well. And it was discovered in 1846 by Urbain Le Verrier using direct imaging as its discovery method. And it's one of the only two planets that have been discovered after 1500s, because for Saturn, for other planets except for Uranus, Neptune, and the dwarf planets, they were already considered they were already the only planets we know of back in the medieval times. But after the Renaissance, Uranus and Neptune were officially discovered by two people, and this is the only two actual planets that were like this, and they were all discovered using direct imaging as well. So this is Neptune. It's negative 200 degrees Celsius, and it has two moons that show up here, Proteus and Triton. However, there are 14 other very small moons after this. So let's go to Proteus, which is a small asteroid. It's just 400 kilometers. It is the second. It's actually the second largest moon. The third largest is Nereid. And Proteus takes 26 hours to orbit Neptune, and it takes 27 hours to orbit Neptune. However, it's actually getting closer to Neptune, and eventually will fall into its Roche limit at some point. So the orbital period will slowly go down as time progresses, and 3 billion years from now, that thing is gone. And the same here for Triton. Let's go to Triton, and we're going to be telling you facts about it because it's a known moon. So the Triton is a very cold moon, meaning negative 228 degrees Celsius, and it has a very, very thin atmosphere, just like the Jupiter moons, but it's slightly visible. You can see here. It's mostly made out of nitrogen. Its gravity is 7% of the Earth, diameter 2,000 kilometers, mass 28% of the Earth, and its ESI. We don't worry about that. It's literally so small you can't even know. And for its thin atmosphere, if you go on the surface of Triton, you can see it is noticeable, but it doesn't really change that much. You can still see the stars even during daytime because of the atmosphere. And takes 5.8 days to orbit Neptune. And fun fact is that Triton is actually orbiting in an opposite direction to Neptune's orbit. You can see Triton is not orbiting in the same way that it's orbiting Neptune. We're going to show you right now. I'm going to show you how Triton's orbiting. You can see Triton is known for orbiting. You can see Neptune is moving this way, but Triton's moving. You can see Neptune's rotation. As you can see Proteus' orbit. That's where Neptune's rotating. But look at Triton. As you can see, Triton is moving the opposite direction, which led some people to think that Triton was actually captured by Neptune and didn't form with Neptune. It rather was captured, and Triton was a dwarf planet back then, just like Pluto, and it was demoted to being a moon with Neptune. And the sad part is, Triton, just like all of Neptune's inner moons, they're on the verge of falling into the Roche limit. But Triton being so big, if it falls in the Roche limit, Neptune's gonna have thicker rings like Saturn, and its thin rings will become thicker and become well known. But unfortunately for Triton, it was a dwarf planet, then it became a moon, and eventually it will turn into rings of Neptune. Triton is kind of having a very unlucky presence in the solar system, and its surface is mostly made out of ice as well. So that is all of Neptune's moons. Let's go to some of its let's go to Nereid, which is the third largest moon of Neptune, taking over 360 days to orbit and 13 days to rotate. And its diameter is 340 kilometers. Mass is very small. You can't even land because the gravity is so small. There's a chance you'll be floating out of Nereid. And it will be very weak and unnoticeable gravity. It's very cratered as well. It's more of just a very tiny asteroid, and its temperature is negative 219 degrees Celsius. And Nereid is probably gonna be the closest moon eventually. Once every moon closer than every moon, which is Triton, and the closer moons fall into the Roche limit and eventually and meet its demise in Neptune's rings. So this is all of Neptune's moons. If you learned something new, make sure to drop a sub on the channel and leave a notification if you want to see the next video, which will be talking about the part 1 of the dwarf planets, which will be talking about Pluto and Ceres, and the part 2 will be talking about Haumea, Makemake, and Eris, which will officially conclude our solar system series. 2 more to go. Like and subscribe.